G'day guys, you're back with Miracle Max. Today in the workshop we have a Volkswagen Amarok 2014 model with I believe a 2.5 litre diesel in it. What's wrong with it? Well, the thing's shaking all over the place, but only occasionally. What's wrong with it? I don't know. Let's check it out together. This customer has taken his vehicle into his normal mechanic and they haven't been able to figure it out. Firstly, they said that the front brakes were a little bit low and could have caused a shudder of some description. A little unusual, only when braking generally speaking. Then they said that the tyres were no good, they needed to be replaced. He did that and no different. So let's not guess, let's not throw parts at it, let's diagnose the problem together. So I spoke to the guy last night about the symptoms that were causing this vibration. He said it was about above 50 k's an hour, usually in top gear or fifth gear going up to sixth. And of course it wouldn't be there all the time. Weather conditions wouldn't make any difference. He did notice going uphill, it would create a bit of a vibration. But there's one thing that he didn't tell me that I'll show you. Hang on, let's have a look at that little fella there on the left-hand side. It's a check engine light. Hello? Yes, okay, we need to investigate further with that check engine light and find out what's going on there. As you can see, I've done a full scan of the system. We've got one here in engine electronics. Let's have a look at what that might be. There's two of them in fact. Alright, so we have a particle trap bank 1, mule light on, and an EGR system not tested, but it is confirmed. I'll need to look into those further, but it appears that we might have a EGR system problem. Not sure about this particle trap bank 1 issue, but I'll look into that further. But yeah, we shouldn't have a check engine light when we're looking for other stuff, hey. Could the vibration even be an engine partial miss? There's something worth considering. But what I will do is go for a road test now and see if I can experience what the customer has told me, then bring it back into the workshop and see if there is a driveline issue. Alright, we're out in the road at the moment and I forgot to press record. Anyway, you're with me now, aren't you? So we'll just head out into the traffic again. I haven't noticed anything as yet. There was a bit of a strange whine. It wasn't like a crazy Merlot or anything like that. No siree bub. Just a little bit of a strange whine in the transmission or something like that. I can't feel anything at the moment. So that was 60 k's and up. He said it's from about 50, but like he said, it's not there all the time. So yeah, it's going to be one of those ones, hey? And he said you can drive through it, so you get to about your 50 k's, then it'll start to play up, and then it'll, you know, you can drive through the thing. Yeah, I can't feel anything at all, not at all. And it's going to be a tough one, especially when you can't even feel it, like you can't experience the problem. That can be a tough one. We'll just cruise out the road and see what we can hear for now. We'll take it from there. He has new tyres on it, so that should rule out that issue. Now this vehicle's done 223,000 kilometres, which honestly isn't too much for a diesel, is it? And certainly no major vibration. I can't hear anything like that at all. Or I can't feel it, I should say. Aha. Turning left, I get a sense of a vibration coming through my legs. It's when I was doing a wide sweep left, I felt something like even through my knees, I guess you could say. But it was quite pronounced through my legs. I felt like I was going over a series of bumps. Let's get it back to the workshop and do some checking of basic things like engine mounts and uni joints and you know, all that sort of stuff, suspension components. And we'll look at the tyres as well. I've done a thorough check of all my ball joints, engine mounts, gearbox mounts, final drive mounts over there. I've come all the way back here, checked my gearbox mount, as you can see there. There he is. And the only thing that I've found that might be just a little bit strange is this front uni joint. Generally speaking, when you check a uni joint, you try and twist them apart like this. Now that feels nice and solid, no problems there. If I turn it around like this and lift it up and down, have a listen. Nothing. If I turn it around quarter a turn, there's definitely a clunking noise there. Turn him around again. Nothing, that's just my gazunder that I'm laying on. Can you hear that? I'm going to undo this uni joint. There's heaps of suggestions on the internet as to different vibrations on these Amaroks. It seems a fairly common problem. And the tail shaft is suggested, final drive assemblies, front and rear, pinion drive, you know, pinion bearings, all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to start with the basics. But first of all, I'd like to put on my oscilloscope, my vibration sensor, and just have a look at it passively before I start pulling it apart. In previous videos, I've done several repairs using this little tool. I just keep it in this container for protection, and it is a vibration sensor. Now, I have shown you before how I've used it. It's just got a little cantilever on here, and it vibrates, and then that signal is sent up to the oscilloscope via these banana connectors. Fairly simple. You clip it onto whatever you want to see if it's vibrating or not, and you can compare it to other signals in different areas. So let's start with the basics. Look, I might even start with my old oscilloscope, the handheld one, the $27 one I think it was, because it's easy to use underneath the vehicle at this point in time. We'll start with the basics and work our way up, shall we? There's the front uni joint right here, and what I'm going to do is just hook on my little oscilloscope onto one of these brackets, see if we can get a vibration coming through here. Fairly simple. I'm going to hook up my little vibration sensor over here. This will give more of a vibration like that on the cantilever. Let's have a look at the oscilloscope and see what it does at, say, 50 k's an hour. One of the problems I'm having is that even though I disconnect the traction control, off-road connection, put it into four-wheel drive, I'm still getting some sort of wheel slippage, so I'm not getting a very accurate reading, and of course then it won't allow you to go any faster. So at the moment I'm what, 15 k's an hour? Let's bring it up. 20 k's, 25 k's, 30 k's, oh there it goes, 35 k's. But that waveform does look a bit dodgy. That waveform doesn't look fantastic, does it? It's all over the place. I'll see if I can get a frequency reading of it and see what that's doing too. That's 50 k's an hour, and we're sitting at 540, 600 hertz. So we're looking at well over 600 hertz, 650, and I'm sitting at about 70 k's an hour there at the moment. So how does that compare with the back universal joint? Let's have a look at that. That's where I've got the back uni joint pickup connected to, just on the bottom section of the diff there. Hopefully that'll be enough to give us a good reading. There we go, it's just kicked in. That's 40 k's there. Nothing, nothing. 22, 38. It's just starting to do that stupid surge thing. 25. But the pattern's certainly better, isn't it? We don't have any major issues there. The frequency's not even reading, it's too low. It's actually really hard to get a good reading because of all the traction control and other bits and pieces. And there's our 50. We're getting virtually no ripple whatsoever. So I'm going to bring out the Pico, guys. There's no other option for it. I've now got the Pico hooked up. I've got it on 500 millivolts, as you can see. Just keep an eye down the bottom here on the frequency range. That'll give you an idea in comparison to our little one. I think we got up to, what was it, 670 or 870? I can't remember, to be quite honest. I'm back on the front uni joint, so just hanging off the back of the extension housing there. So let's just see how the readings compare with our Pico oscilloscope compared to our little DSO 138. We're up to 30 k's now. We're up to 40 k's now. Just to come up to 50 and have a look at that signal. It's ugly as. And of course our frequency, 600 it hit, 666 something, 700 and something. Do I hear any higher than 700, 700? No. Looks like we hit 700, but look at that signal, it's ugly as. Let's compare that to our rear uni joint. Okay, I've now got it on the same spot that I had it on with my little DSO 138, so it'll be comparable, won't it? The front readings were, very similar in comparison, so let's see what this back one is like. The back one gave us basically no readings whatsoever. There was hardly any oscillations. The frequency was very low. In fact, my settings were probably incorrect, but the Pico is a more powerful tool. So let's see what the back uni joint looks like. 20 Ks, 30 Ks, 40 Ks. It's only about 100 and something hertz. Signal looks quite reasonable. Alright, so by comparison the front one's definitely got some issues. I might just pop that front section of the tail shaft, maybe the back section as well. We can have a look at that. I've now got the entire tail shaft out. Starting back here at the rear universal joint, moving forward, there's a slip joint just up there. We've also got a centre bearing and of course that front universal joint. I have found something, it's a little bit unusual compared to what a normal uni joint playing up would look like, but I'll try and show you on camera. A little bit difficult to show you on camera. Firstly, I'll show you the back one. To check a universal joint, normally you'd grab this yoke here and this tail shaft and try and turn them, twist them sideways. These are fine that way, but what I do find is that if I lift this up and just go like this, it's got a real notch in the middle of it. Right there, not too bad on this back one. A little bit there, you can see it sort of drops, and if you go sideways, the same sort of feeling. Just there's a bit of a notch. Okay, let's have a look at the front one. I'm now at the front universal joint. This guy attaches itself to the back of the gearbox transmission, if you will. We just lift it up, there's a real, see that? There's a real notch. It's a bit hard to show on camera. Did you see that? And it's not just that way, it's this way as well. Maybe not quite as pronounced, but there's definitely a point where it sort of locks into place. So see that bit there? There's definitely a wear spot right there. So look, I think I'm onto something. I'm not sure that I've got 100% guaranteed assurance, and unfortunately, have a look at this. Can you see that? It's the peen style. There's no circlip, internal circlip, external circlip. It's a peen style. It has to be put in by a special machine. That's not something that I can do. Unfortunately, he's probably up for an entire tail shaft. Ouch. That's all the testing that I can do for now. I'm really not happy with this stiff uni joint that's right in the centre there, both front and rear. The middle one seems to be okay. Look, the customer's going to need his vehicle back, so I'm going to have to pop this back in the vehicle for him, and then we can discuss options with regard to the tail shaft and of course that check engine light that concerns me as well. So time to put this back in. I'm just back from my final road test and I felt some sort of a vibration twice, I think. Only trouble is when you're searching for something, you really focus on it and you're not sure if you've actually felt it or you just imagined it. It definitely seemed to be worse when it was cold. Perhaps those universal joints needed to warm up a little bit before they got rid of the vibration. I don't know. First time I took it for a road test, the customer had dropped it off only maybe an hour before, but I've been working on it for some time now and it was nice and cold. Took it for a road test and yes, I think I felt those vibrations that he's referring to. So I'm going to have a chat to him and decide whether we want to do a tail shaft or whatever the case may be. So I'll continue this on as I find out some more information and I'll get back to you shortly. Okay, so some time has passed since I had a look at this Amarok and the customer has decided to, well, sell the vehicle. So I don't know if that was the actual solution to the problem. I feel pretty confident that it was. Unfortunately, with those tail shafts, they are a peen style, so you can't replace the universal joints without having specialised tools. I hope at least you're able to get something from this diagnosis today, guys. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, give it a like and feel free to comment down below. Don't forget about that notification bell. You don't want to miss any future videos. So until next time, guys, this is Miracle Max signing off. I will catch you later.